like the yeah, I like I like the way your voice switches over from kind of like the very calm suburban
The
dad to like that the hype man.
Well, that's what I have to do. I go, woo, yeah, all right,
From
Yeah,
sad and depressed and into away from death to he just puts a little happy face on. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
the true me behind the curtain me.
yeah.
Don't let the
Sure.
secret out.
It is on his 12th reason why.
Mhm.
Pretty much.
It
How's it
only
going,
takes
guys?
that one
Happy
more.
Friday.
Yay!
Yay,
Yay. Yeah, everyone's like, yay.
yay, great.
Hurrah, hurrah.
Yeah,
It's
I'm in a terrible mood. I got screwed over earlier today, but
What happened?
not something to talk about on the stream.
Okay. All right.
yeah.
Well, maybe we'll talk later then,
Yeah.
because I am curious. Unless it's something you totally don't want to talk about. I don't know.
It just sucks.
Well, you can buy more firearms. It's okay.
Huh?
You can buy more firearms. It's okay.
Yeah. I had to give up a few though.
Oh, yeah.
Mm. So yeah, reality
I know.
elevator.
Reality elevator.
Yeah, he's from Berlin.
Hey, what's up? Greetings and love from Berlin. How's it going, man?
Huh. We have German fans.
I guess so. Yeah, and we got I know
It's a
Andrew's
great
coming.
time to bring up today's topic.
That's great. Yeah. Speaking.
All right.
It's not a
So
topic for the
So
whole
Zach,
show. It's just something we were
what
going
were
to talk
you
about.
you wanted to talk about Kanye?
yeah, well, the point I
About
was
you?
trying to. All right, so just to backtrack a little bit. So there's this theory called the like the 3-year rule when it comes to people in like music and associated creative arts. For some reason, it doesn't. Oh, really? A month? I'm sorry, but so no, it's a theory that if you're working in like in pop music, rock, rap, that sort of thing, it doesn't really apply to country for some reason. You have for most people in that field, you have about 3 years where you're really creatively vital, and that's when you do most of the work that you remember for later. Now, it
Mhm.
doesn't apply to all. Doesn't apply to everybody. I mean, like David Bowie was vital for like almost 20 years.
Oh yeah, because David Bowie constantly reinvented himself.
Yeah, but like like the Rolling Stones, they really after like 1971, after like but really like 1973 or depending which album they basically spent their entire career living off of the stuff they made between 1963 and like 1973. Same thing with like the Beatles were.
Zach, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna bump in for 1 second because I'm gonna show this throughout the evening.
just
Um, uh,
don't ruin my flow, man.
no, I'm sorry for ruining your flow. I just reality elevators here, and I know some other guys are coming soon. I just want to make a teaser because Andrew said he's gonna come tonight because he already
Oh,
came today. And we
oh,
we got this. This was in our group text. This is real. This was in our group text.
mhm.
This is the teaser for tonight. So again, I think it says
You got
the
to hold up.
story behind this photo is pretty funny, and I will tell you about it tonight. Okay,
Right. Okay.
this is the photo.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's
This is the
yes.
photo.
Have a
And
good
Some
night, y'all.
what
somebody
what
somebody
Feel
got
free to
Diddy partied.
speculate.
what you're not seeing below that are all the porn star or all the porn star jokes that were
Yeah.
flying back and forth.
So I'm just I just putting it out there in the universe. We
All
call it
right.
a
So
teaser.
all right. So anyway, to get back to what I was saying before I lose my thread. So
Yeah.
you got like like 90s rock guys like Smashing Pumpkins who basically like everything between like 91 and 95, or Snoop Dogg, which is like pretty much everything between like in the early to mid 90s. And after that they generally don't do anything because they're really comfortable and they're out of ideas or both.
Mhm.
And so there's a certain hip hop star uh, known for his dislike of gold diggers. A certain Mr. K West, um, who's been in the news recently for a certain song that whose title, if we mention it, will probably get kicked. Let's just say he's a big. Let's just say it displays his love for for German politics circa 1933.
Wait, really quick.
Uh-huh.
Did that song get kicked off of YouTube?
It's
I
been
don't.
kicked off of every platform except X.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, they've all banned it.
Even
So-
Rumble?
Yeah, I don't know about Rumble,
But
every major streaming platform has banned it.
Awesome.
Well,
That's amazing.
well, so here's the thing. We were speculating in the green room why he might have done this, and I think the reason why he's doing it is he's out of ideas, and he's past his goal. He's gone through his like 3 or 4 creative years when he was actually creatively vital,
Mhm.
and so now he's doing what a lot of these guys do, which is I need to stay centered. Need to stay in the light.
I
So
have
also-
a different opinion. I have a different opinion.
all right. Also, he might also be shit nuts as well. So that
Well, I
That
do
might
think
be,
I think he's bipolar and he's come out as, having some issues, which whatever.
Yeah.
man.
He's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
he's,
given.
he's a little off. But I don't think I think he's I mean, I don't know, man. Like you see so many things that go on in Hollywood and all this stuff. Like it's the most fucked up place on earth. Like there's some really, I mean, all the kid stuff and all the Diddy stuff. Like that stuff
Yeah.
is like all over the place. Like
Yeah,
One
yeah,
it's not
thing-
like
they're
it's
all
not like
they're all
it's not like one guy. Like it's not like, oh, Diddy is the exception to the rule. Like I think he was like the standard rule. And
yeah,
so
they're
I
all
think-
in on it.
Yeah, and I think straight up, like Kanye has seen some things, right? Maybe participated in some things against his will, or who knows. I think he's just saying these things publicly to get everyone the fuck away from him, like everybody,
Yeah,
like because he's so poisoned now between what he said about his cousin. Like you heard about that, right?
no, I
Yeah.
did not.
oh God.
Yeah.
Okay, he said him and his cousin found dirty magazines together and would blow each other till they were a
Okay.
certain age, and then his cousin committed suicide after he wanted to stop doing it.
Hmm.
So I think that I think that yeah, he's airing things out, and I'm not saying he's making things up. I think I'm sure it's true, right? But I think he's saying it and doing it publicly specifically to push literally everybody away so that nobody can be in his orbit, so that nobody can take him down, basically. I think he's looking to protect himself. And I don't necessarily think it's the best way, but I also am not in that position, so who knows?
Yeah,
But
and
yeah, that's my thinking.
and he's been painted as a villain so often
Yeah.
that he's playing the villain as
Yeah.
cartoonishly and as ridiculously as possible.
Right. That's the ultimate villain, right?
Yeah,
It's the ultimate villain. Like, how can I be the ultimate villain?
Yeah.
So and that's my take. I mean, as someone who is Jewish, I don't find his music that song offensive at all. I mean, I laughed at it. I was like, all right, like, I don't know. You grow up Jewish, you better have some thick skin. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. What?
Have you
Yeah,
met my friends?
Oh God, we're horrific. It's like okay, Todd hearing that song versus Avery says worse.
Yeah, 35 years of these guys.
Yeah.
I think a song
Yeah.
about the H guy is not that big of a deal. It
Yeah.
didn't bother me at all, and I was like, okay. I mean, is the track good? Like, whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty mediocre for him actually.
Yeah, it's not a great track. And I was like, well, it's not a great track. I mean, I was more offended by the music than by the lyrics. Real.
Yeah, as far as the lyrics, it's just him just spilling tea and saying, "Okay, I'm the villain."
Yeah. So, it was okay. I like I said, I think he's a phenomenal producer and a musician, and I feel bad. He's kind of like, in a weird way, even though he wasn't like a child star or anything, in a weird way, he's totally got child star vibes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like going down the child star path where they've seen so much or been taken advantage of so much.
Yeah.
And you never I mean look at Justin Bieber, dude. Have you seen what that dude's been posting lately?
Oh, dude, yeah, yeah. And it started getting bad with all the Diddy stuff came up. I think some sick shit happened to him when he was a kid around Diddy.
I think he got yeah, man. Like he's posting pictures of pizza and all kinds of weird shit. Like, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
feeding all the theories on that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think he, you know, I just don't, I don't think he's the only one. If it's true and if it happened to him, God forbid, I don't think it's the exception to the rule. I think that is, it's like music, man. Like I was in the music industry a little bit. Like I knew a lot of producers, and I worked with one guy who was a major producer for a few years, 3 years, all day, every day. And like the way that this shit works, man, like you don't get those jobs. You like it is a misconception. It is a misconception that like the American theory, or I guess the global theory of greatness for creativity, is that like is that you work really hard and you're super talented and you magically get picked and then you go global and you're a smash hit. And that's not true at all. That's not how it works. Reality says, yeah, mainstream hip hop is a joke these days. Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, I was big hip hop like in the 80s and 90s, man. I feel like hip hop stopped in like 1996 for me, anyway, man. Give me Group Home and Gangstar any day of the week. But like, for these guys, like, you have to remember, like back in those days, yeah, I mean they had to hustle. They were like getting popular in their own neighborhoods and then spreading mixtapes. Like that was genuine grassroots like hustle. But then when Hollywood came in and all those guys got rich, you're like 2 or 3 generations now. Like it's like the grandkids or the great grandkids of the producers, of the directors, of the musicians. Like it's their whole families now, so they're born into it. And they all moved magically. They all moved to Hollywood, and they start getting to these parties. They start becoming famous, and all that. Like they exchange all of this shit for money. And the stuff that they sing about, they're not sitting down. Most of these guys are not sitting down at the end of the night and writing lyrics for their new album. They're told what to sing about. They're told what to sing about because they're getting paid. It's like activists, like just as there are like paid protesters to go to colleges and all kinds of shit. The same system pays artists and rappers and country. They pay those people like sponsorships to sing about certain things. Just as it's so obvious, like it doesn't surprise us when we see like a star or something holding up a bottle of whiskey saying, yeah, this whiskey's great, because we know that's product placement. But when that same person sings about this drinking whiskey, you don't think about it. You're like, it's just a song about whiskey, but it's not. Like, there's a reason why country music is about alcoholism and like lonely nights, and hip hop is about drugs and gang war. Like, it filters into it makes people, it's brainwashing, in my opinion.
Oh, it's the CIA.
100%, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. So it's like, at least that's my experience. And again, it's really hard because you paint these things with such a broad brush. And then someone says, well, that's not true because that wasn't my experience. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, it is true. Like it might not be true for you. And if that's not true for you, you got really, really lucky. You got really, really lucky. But the reality is that, yeah, that's pretty much the way it works. It's pretty nuts.
Like, that threshold when stars break through, you have that period where they go crazy.
Yeah.
And it's bizarre. And you see it a lot.
This is why there's so many drugs, dude. a lot of that shit is like the drugs and alcohol stuff. Like, it's not like, again, it's not like the magic artist syndrome where like the creator is just so they're so struggled and it's so hard to do that they just have to hit the fucking sauce to fucking get it, you know? No, a lot of that is just like they've seen so much evil shit and they've either participated in evil shit or they didn't stop the evil shit that it eats away at them and they have to fucking start popping pills and snorting shit to fucking get through a day, you know? Reality says social engineering.
Yeah.
He says, yeah, I feel the hustle is what made the real stuff. It is. When there's no more hustle, like what do you got? You know, like they can't sing about anything. Like what do they sing about? There's great stuff where like, you know, there what was it? Like there's some old documentaries I saw. I mean, even like when Jay-Z's documentary on the Black Album back in the day, when he's like, there's like a couple of shots where there's like a young up and coming rapper and he's just like, no, man, you just gotta sing about gangster shit because that's what people want to buy. Like that's it. Like, you know, it's conditioning. It's absolute conditioning, right? It's crazy shit, you know. So I don't know. Kanye, in regards to Kanye, like I think you know, I definitely think that dude needs help. Like obviously I think he needs help. But I also think it seems to me, and I maybe, you know, I could be just making more about it than it is, but to me it seems like a huge like flare in the sky. You know what I mean? I don't know what it means because I'm not in that world, but you know, but like it certainly seems like someone's shooting a giant flare up in the sky to be like you know, hey everybody, look at this. You know what I mean? Like it just, I don't know. I hope he's getting the reaction that he wants. Meaning, I hope he's getting like whatever the message, the point was. I hope it received it. You know, like I said, I think he's definitely bipolar, and so I guess technically not crazy. He might be schizophrenic. Who knows? But I think when you do stuff like this stuff is like, I guess the final point on this for me anyway is like, this shit isn't in a vacuum, meaning like you don't just like have a, you know, manic depressive experience or a bipolar experience and say you're going to make a song like this and make it. Like it takes months to get these songs done. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you know, you got to write it, you got to produce it, you're sitting there, you're editing the track, you're making sure the track works, you're getting all the stems and you're mastering it. You know what I mean? Like there's like 300 different steps to do before it like even remotely gets released. And then even when it's like, even before it's released, there's marketing for it. People don't just release it when it's done. They plan for it. So it sits on she probably had that written like 3 or 4 months, 6 months ago it was done, you know? So like there's plenty of time to say, you know, I've come to my senses. I'm not gonna put that out. Right. So I think it's a plan. I don't think it might not be a smart plan. I don't know. But I think he wants people to think he's just insane and crazy and willing to do anything. And so he's just gonna put that shit out there. But I think he's strategic as fuck.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think he's hyper strategic.
He usually turns everything around after he does something crazy. He's like, nope, what I wanted was this over here and I got it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also too, with like in the fine art world, like one of the keys is to try to like, there's an artist, Matthew Barney, who's kind of like sexualized and kind of does some weird shit, but his stuff is actually, I really like it. It's really out there. And his thing was like, you just get an idea and then you take the idea as far as you possibly can. So it would not surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if you saw like Kanye's new concert, like he walks out in white robes with white KKK hoodies. And
oh, God.
Whole bunch of dudes. Of course, do you see that's the next step, right? Like, it's just, it's an act. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
he's gonna
it
like
is.
the only way to go now is like walk out with a burning cross, bro. Like go walk out with a burning cross and wear the hoodies, a black KKK hoodie, right? Like make it a little more different.
like
So
the
it'll be a black
Catholics
KKK
wear.
hoodie. Huh?
Like
Yeah.
the Catholics wear.
It's called
I
a
guess.
penitente,
Yeah.
and
But it's it's performance art, and like you're either in on the joke or you're not on one level, and on the other level, I think he's like trying to bring as much attention to him as possible to keep himself safe. If the whole world thinks you're crazy, then everyone's looking at your next move, right? And if
Yeah.
everyone's looking at your next move, it's really hard for someone to like, poison your drink or something. You see what I'm saying? Though?
God, who knows with the mysterious suicides we see all the time?
I'm
Like
just
this
saying.
person I mean, you see it all the time. It's like, oh, this person that accused so and so. Oh, wait, they committed suicide, shot themselves 22 times.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Right. Yeah, he accidentally, suicide. He shot himself 32 times in the back.
yeah, like
Yeah.
that, and they just go. It's like that seems suspicious. Now, don't be a conspiracy theorist now.
Right.
But like, no, that's a little weird.
It's
Like
weird.
how'd they do that? How'd they do that?
Well, like the Epstein witness, the chick that died.
Oh yeah, one of them died. It's like, yeah, suicide.
Yeah,
But
she got
buried
hit,
herself.
she got hit by a bus, and she was in critical condition. And they said she made a post saying that she had a few days to live, few hours to days to live because she was hurt so bad. And then she was getting better, right? She miraculously got better, like she survived, and she was healing and was posting that she was healing, and then she committed suicide. And everyone started they found a post from like a year ago or 2 years ago that was like, I will not ever commit suicide, blah blah blah, like a declaration, right? So
is that the one? Wasn't there also another one that was found like covered in like she was buried and covered in lye, and they're like, oh, suicide.
Yeah, probably. Reality Elevator says Gary Webb. I don't know who's Gary Webb.
I don't know.
I'm not sure who Gary Webb is. But yeah, man, I don't know, dude. I've gotten so like jaded on all of this over the last 10 years, maybe 5-10 years. You know what I mean? Yeah, probably 10 years, where I just don't believe anybody for shit anymore, man. Like,
oh, a reporter. Okay.
A reporter.
A reporter that got whacked. He was a reporter that got whacked for trying to expose some CIA stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Some of their shady. I didn't read all the details, but yeah, okay.
Yep.
It was in the 90s. Okay.
Magic. It's magic. It's not real. It's just magic. It just happens. These things happen.
Yeah, it's really miraculous that everybody that's ever, except for Guy Pearce now, but all the other people that accused Kevin Spacey all committed suicide. That's
all of them. Yeah, all of them. Well, that's the thing. It's like it's not. It's too much of a coincidence, dude. Like it's too much of a coincidence, and like it's like, well, what? I mean, straight up. I don't know anything about Kevin Spacey as a person. Like that dude might be Diddy times 3. Who knows? He might be. I mean, all these guys were connected to politicians.
Yeah, and it's like all of them, every single one did that. That's what are the odds of that?
Yeah,
but
right.
if you question it, you're a conspiracy theorist. You're you're a kook.
At this point, bro, like this is something, and it's interesting because this is what we've been dealing with. We've been talking about this with adult fantasy a lot too, like all the stuff we're working on. But like, I never thought in my wildest dreams, because I knew a bunch. Like, look, we came from Jacksonville, Florida. Like, I knew plenty of kids who were conspiracy theorists, and like, those were also the same kids that would like make homemade dead Kennedy tattoos in their arm with like a razor blade or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
not Slayer.
No, Dead Kennedys. But like
Lightweights.
Slayer 2, but like Dead Kennedys specifically. But like, you know, they were always like nuts, basically. They were like, they believed in conspiracy theories, and then they would also like carve shit into their arm, and you're like, okay, yeah, you're nuts, bro. But like now, I mean, if I'm not necessarily keeping score, but I think the conspiracy theorists are like the motherfucking Yankees. Like,
Yeah, I
in the
know, I
heyday of
know.
the Yankees, like they don't fucking miss. Like, I can't think of anything, honestly. Like, can you think of any conspiracy theory? Here's a game. Name a conspiracy theory in the last 25 years that hasn't been proven true.
The really, really wacky ones, like reptile aliens.
Those are the only ones left, and that's what makes me scared, bro.
True. Oh God.
Those are the only ones left.
Those are the only ones left. Oh
yeah,
shit.
you got the Manus people and the reptilians and the Greys, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
they're real. I get it. You know, I'm looking for people's eyelids to clip sideways and shit.
Oh my God. You're right. Because the ones that were big, you know, from the 80s and 90s have all been proven true.
They've all been proven true.
Oh my God, we are ruled by reptile aliens. It's gotta be.
Am I wrong? Like, can you seriously name? I honestly cannot name a conspiracy theory, and I know a lot of them, but they're all true. So like, I can't think of one that has been proven untrue, or like, except for these extreme ones where like aliens are basically among us. Reality says it's all real.
Yeah,
it probably is, dude.
Yeah, it's. I mean, when I heard Alex Jones say spider goats, and then it turned out to be true, like, oh my God, spider goats are real.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, shit.
It's a thing, dude. It's a thing. It's real. It's crazy. I don't know. It's crazy. Hey, Andrew.
Hey, guys.
We teased our massive audience of Reality Elevator with your photo earlier, with what appeared to be a creamy white substance covering most of your body and partially your face.
Yeah, it was dripping down the side of my glasses.
I just want to know, did you get paid well?
No animals were hurt during the making of that photo.
Were any animals pleasured?
It looked like you took a I know, it looked like you took a shot in the mouth from a horse, buddy.
Were there any happy animals?
Well, I was limited to the fact that I was driving at the time, so there weren't any animals involved.
Okay. So should I show that again just to show exactly what we're talking about?
Sure, go ahead.
By the way, Andrew, do I? You don't read your fucking text. Do I have permission to share that photo in our Discord?
Sure, I don't mind.
Yeah, that's what
I sent it to my family.
Got reflection.
Yeah. I sent it to you guys first with the note that it's a funny story. I'll tell you all later. Feel free to speculate till then.
Yes.
And Avery did not disappoint at all. And I sent it to my family with more context.
Uh-huh.
And my sister responded with, "That's now my icon on Facebook." It's her profile picture on Facebook.
Profile picture.
I go, I can't. Yeah. So
what's the story?
Well, every morning, I give my mother-in-law one of these chocolate nutrient shakes, essential vitamin shakes. And before I pour them into the cup, I shake them up and pour them into the cup and bring it to her. And I pick them up from.
What do you do before you give it to her?
I shake it up and pour it into the cup. I don't need to show you
That
anymore.
that explains it. Yeah,
I'm not.
yeah,
We're not done.
Wait,
We're not done.
hold on.
yeah.
How do you show me? How do you shake it?
Let me see if I can find something to shake.
We need a demonstration.
There's a bottle of Italian dressing.
Uh-huh.
If this was the bottle of chocolate milkshake, chocolate, essential vitamin, I shake it up before I pour it into the cup.
Yeah, it works on me too to do that.
So I pick up my mother-in-law and my wife from the cruise terminal because they got back from their cruise today. And on the way back, we stopped at a Publix so that we could go to the bathroom and get some snacks because we were all a little hungry. And my wife found in the dairy aisle these strawberry and mixed berry smoothies in little bottles, little white bottles. And so we grabbed one of each, a mixed berry and a strawberry. And I showed it to my mother-in-law. She was like, "Oh, that sounds wonderful. That sounds great." So we get back in the car and we start driving. My mother-in-law is trying her mixed berry and she likes it. And my wife is sitting behind me.
Reality.
And you can see in the picture.
Reality says, I really just thought you guys were going to talk about comics.
Well,
We got
So-
comics. We got comics. We got comics.
So you can see my wife's face in the picture behind me. She asked me as I'm driving down 95 or driving up 95, she says,
Uh-huh.
"Would you like to try my strawberry smoothie?" And I said, "Yes, absolutely." And she reached over to hand it to me. I grabbed it from her. I didn't look at it. And my first thought that went through my head was, shake it up first. It did not have the lid on it. And I literally splattered it from my chest up my face to the ceiling, dripping from the ceiling on the windshield, dripping on my mother-in-law's pants. I just literally took it and just went like this with it and threw it all over the car.
You retard.
And the first thought that went through my mind was, I got to take a picture of myself and send it to the guys.
I do
Oh,
appreciate.
thank you.
I have to
And-
say, I have to say, I do appreciate the stoicism of your face because that made it better.
Oh God, the look. The
The
look.
funny part was, is I said to my wife, "Honey, this is the picture I just sent the guys," and she goes, "Oh my God, what are they gonna think?" I said, "I don't know, but let's find out." And here's the next funny part: we needed to
Reality
stop.
says, I guess that's just like a comic strip.
We needed to find a place to stop so I could clean myself up. So I'm just sitting there driving. My mother-in-law is wiping down the car and all, and I'm just letting it drip down my chest and my face. And we get to an exit where there's a rest stop. I get out of the car and I start walking to the bathroom. And I'm literally got this shit all over me, and I'm just walking past people, and people are looking at me, and I'm like, whatever. There's nothing I can do about this. I wasn't going to smear it all over me to get it off. I was just, fuck it, I'll get it. So I got in, I took off my shirt, and I went to go rinse my shirt because I did not have a change of clothes because I just drove down to pick them up and drove back.
Mm.
So this is all I had. So I took my shirt off and I started to rinse. It had dried and was all crusted by the time we got to the
Oh, God,
yeah.
Andrew.
So it was literally coming off in clumps.
Oh my
It was-
God. Oh dear
Well,
God.
that is a fantastic story. Thank you for sharing.
Oh,
I
my
will
God.
Be posting,
Would you
I will
guys
be
like?
posting this into the Adult Fantasy Discord.
Would you
You
guys
straight
like me to-
walked in there like a Diddy victim.
Would you guys like to hear the comments that Avery made for it?
No.
They were pretty good.
Okay, but then we're getting to comic stuff.
He says, "Don't watch the hub and drive, folks." When a shorty with a fatty flies by on a sport bike, when you pull up to McDiddy's and order the special sauce. This is the one that I really liked. When the drive home after C.K. Lewis invites you to his hotel room. And then the one I didn't get was Riley Reid wondered why her boyfriend won't kiss her. and I didn't know who that was. And he said, "Don't act like you don't know." So I had to look her up, and I said, "Oh my gosh, she's cute, but she's 33. Man, she's old." And then Avery agreed, 33 is old. But
I did not.
yeah,
I was
Well,
like,
well, technically speaking, in that line of work, it is old.
yeah.
And by the
Anyway.
way, and by the way, guys, she's from Florida.
yeah, she
That
is.
doesn't surprise me at all. So, in the world of comics,
Yeah, you
this
guys
is
want to
what-
switch over to comics?
yeah,
I shared a comic with the guys yesterday while you were off doing something. I don't know what you were doing. I mean, it
oh,
was
you
probably
got
more
the screen. Let's see it.
Oh, jeez. So I picked up several new comics this week, including one that I didn't know anything about, called Exquisite Corpses.
Okay.
And this is the Jenny Frison variant, which I kind of liked better than the other variants that they had. They no longer
a cool
had the
cover.
regular edition. They didn't have the regular edition, but this is James Tinian, the same guy who did Something is Killing the Children, and kind of became a cult classic. And one of the reasons why I like this so much is it's a double size, double thick issue from Image Comics for $4.99. So it's double. There's no advertisements in it and everything. So it's just nothing but story and art. And
It's thick.
the thing that got me is at the very end, I thought this was interesting. They have an advertise. Well, there is an advertisement on the back page says Exquisite Corpse, the game. So coming in 2026. So I guess it's they're going to put it out as a card game, which, I've encouraged people to, look into making trading card games before with their characters and their world. And, one of these days, maybe it'll happen, but who knows? But the point is, the story is the original 13 colonies were founded by 13 families. And these 13 families pretty much control all of the US, control all of the world.
Okay.
Well, I got to remember if it's all the world or if it's just the US. Well, needless to say, each family represents a state. And for years, they have been gathering together once a year to have this competition where they choose a character to battle, and whoever's character is the last one standing, they are the ones that's in charge for the next year. But there's 13 families that pretty much run everything, and each one is given a card, and each card represents a weapon, whether it's fire, electricity, a gun, an axe, a knife, poison, so forth. And so depending on which weapon they can use, they determines what type of character they hire to do this. And the incentives for the people playing the game are, if you die, whoever you pick as your representative will receive $1 million. But if you survive till the very end, you get $100 million. So there's a monetary award if you win. And they're crazy psycho killers and whatnot. But the other twist of the story is they pick a small town in the US, they seal it off. In the very first issue, it starts off with the chief police of this little town. He's on his way out of town, and he's met by a guy. He gives him a car, and he gives him his stuff and says, "Here's a package. It's your whole new identity, new credit cards, new social security, everything." They're just paying him off to leave. So it's got a little bit of the Purge type to it, because these 13 characters are playing in this battlefield, which is this small town, and everybody is potentially collateral damage.
Okay.
And and it's also on Halloween. That's another thing about it, is it's on Halloween, and it's these, well, they say there's 13 families and 12 families are playing, so there's 12 characters, and one character gets taken out by the end of the first issue. But apparently this is going to be a 13 issue series, and on the first page it says season 1, episode 1, or issue 1, or whatever. So they're probably planning on making more of these, but the characters are flamboyant and crazy. Like this character here is some type of expert assassin, and it's actually a girl, and she's just called the Fox Face Killer or something. And there's other people, like there's a guy that has a huge hammer, another guy that has wires that like spider webs, another guy, one of the characters is literally, his name is Nurse Pete. He's a nurse, and the family that he is their representative says he's probably killed more than everybody here combined. Because when they, and then they, you get introduced to each of the characters like for a few brief panels. And when he's introduced, the first question he asks is where's the hospital? And the person dropping him off at his foot says, I can't tell you that. You have to figure it out on your own. But there's a long sequence about one of the characters trying to convince her person to play the game for her, and he's called the Lone Gunman. He's just got guns and wears a gold mask, and apparently he's a former military guy that was discharged, and he wants his job, he wants his life back. And she's like, we control everything, we can easily give you back your life. So
that sounds pretty cool.
It's already, the setup's actually really cool, so we'll see how it goes.
Pretty...
So
Reality says check Bloodlines of the Illuminati by Springmayer on that.
There's a lot of stuff in here that it's kind of like, remember when the Hunger Games came out and everybody was like, oh, that's they used inspiration from what's the manga that I'm thinking of? I know you guys know what I'm talking about. But there's a lot of battle royale. So there's a lot of you get a lot of references to other stuff in this, but it could be interesting. We'll see how it comes out. But it looks like it's going to be very violent, and people love that stuff.
Andrew, do you know, and Avery too, but Andrew's a retailer, so I'm kind of curious about this. Do you know, or have you heard about Planet Death from Bad Idea?
No.
I believe so, but I've never seen it. I've heard of it.
Because I'm really curious about this. Okay.
Don't see a lot of Bad Idea is like Mad Cav. I hear of them, but I don't see them out there that often.
My BS radar goes off, and it's not them at all. It's purely because I'm a jaded asshole. Or I've been in comics too long and whatever. But I'm going to share this. So I'm really curious what you guys think. Because I've been seeing this and I'm like, how? I mean, I know I'm not as hardcore. Like, I don't go to the comic shops as much. Like, I'm not reading all of the comic book news like I used to. But like, they released a comic called Planet Death, and supposedly, Planet Death #1. This is the cover. But the art looks great. It looks great. Like, they did a great job. It looks really cool.
Who's the artist? Because it's probably nobody we've ever heard of.
Venditti. Yeah. I know Wayshak did a cover. They've got a lot of talent over there, but yeah, I don't know the artist. I'm not familiar. Probably European, if I had to guess. But it says it's official. Planet Death has taken comics by storm. With over 900,000 copies of issue 0 unleashed the Wednesday before Free Comic Book Day, making it the biggest selling independent comic since Wildcats #1 in 1992.
Never heard of it.
And I don't understand, because likewise, I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you remember,
and I'm not knocking them. I don't know, but like, it's a $5.90. It's $5.99, 56 pages. Tomas Giorello is the person that did the art. The art looks great. Like, this is really cool. Like, it looks like really good stuff. Definitely a talented illustrator. I'm gonna flip. Let me see if I can get a couple images here. Oh, you know what? This is one of those things where I can't, every time I share, if I'm not sharing my entire screen. Sorry guys, let me share my window, because there's no, there we go. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. So this is the cover. So his artwork, right?
Oh, they've got a Jay Lee cover.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I'll show like some more artwork here so we can kind of like that's actually it's really good. Like I'm not knocking the art or the artist or the concept or anything. I don't know. There are fewer comic shops than ever before. There are
Yeah.
like the number of places to buy a comic book have been cut by like what 75% since 1992.
Something. It's a big number.
And you're telling me that there's 900,000 copies of this out there in the fewer comic shops. And so I mean this is dope. I'm not gonna lie. But then I'm like, okay, if that's true, then there should be stacks at every single comic shop.
Well, there was a comic, this was months and months and months ago, I remember last year sometime, where they sent free copies. So if you ordered like 5 copies, your store got 25 copies,
Right.
where they sent you dozens and dozens of free copies. And I remember the comic book store here in town had them on the shelf and had signs like special deal, get 2 extra stamps when you buy this, because they were just trying to get rid of them. I never saw an issue number 2.
Right.
And it made news in the comic news about how many copies were published and how many were shipped out. It had nothing to do with orders because people didn't order them, they just sent them. I don't know, this could easily be one of those things where, you know, I know they were saying something about what's his name doing something like this, where I remember what it was. What is the guy Isom?
Eric July.
Eric July, yes. He sent a crap load of his books off to CGC in order to get them CGC graded, and then that week the list of top books sent to CGC came out, and he was like the number 5 top
Right.
books. And they did a news article about, wow, everybody's trying to get these books graded. No,
Right.
nobody is. It's all a
Right.
matter of making a news headline, and they fudge the numbers, and they in order to make it look like something is popular.
Right. Well, there was a
So-
reality says the colors are nice too. How much is being sold online? That's a great question. I don't know. But there was what comic was it? I don't remember. It was it what I don't remember. It was a Marvel comic. I think it was Marvel. And they started claiming like hundreds of thousands of copies sold because they included them in the Loot Crate for the month when Loot Crate was a thing.
Oh, there was something like that. It was like Rocket Raccoon #1 or something. But they included like 100,000 copies to Loot Crate, and they included those in the numbers.
Right. And so I'm just like,
it was
when
some ridiculous amount. Yeah.
900,000 copies, like the collector base isn't what it was in 1992. The stores are not what I was. The reason I wanted to bring it up, and I like I said, I will again for the record say the art looks dope. This cover is sick. Like it looks dope. But my question of this is like, I was like, maybe, you know, kind of going off of what you're saying, Andrew, like people play with the numbers, dude. I was like, well, maybe there were like 45 variant covers, you know, you get the variant cover and you get 30 issues free or 100 issues free or something. Like
something's up. That number definitely had to be cooked somehow. Because that is huge. 900,000 copies.
Read the 900,000 thing again to me.
With over 900,000 copies of issue 0 unleashed the Wednesday before Free Comic Book Day.
Okay, so that means the distributor sent out 900,000 copies. That does not mean there was 900,000 orders done.
Well, it says making it the biggest selling maybe that's how they're framing it. Biggest selling independent comic because the retailers had 900,000 copies to sell.
All sold to retailers, right? This is not people are out there buying this issue. This is sold to retailers, and I guarantee you, retailers did not order 900,000 copies of this unknown book.
No,
it would be the biggest thing plastered all over the place if that was the case, and that's not the case. Right now, the biggest thing that's in stores right now, believe it or not, is Battle Beast.
Battle Beast looks dope, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the first issue. It was pretty good, but they were offering a collector's edition
Uh-huh.
The guy at the store was telling me about it. It was 25 variants, including one that you could only get in the collector's edition. The collector's edition retailed for $700.
Jesus.
He was trying to figure out a way to display something that was $699 without somebody just grabbing it and walking off with it.
Wait. How did this happen? Because I saw just like yesterday, they were showing variants. There was like some covers and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But I didn't understand it. Like, what did they do?
What do you mean? What did they do?
Like, what was the collector? Reality says, you guys really think the numbers are all made up?
No, they're not made up, but they're not what they implying, you know? They're implying that people are buying this 900,000 copies. That's not the case. 900,000 copies were sent to retailers.
Yeah, and
They
it
didn't
does
say
it,
retailers bought and ordered 900,000 copies.
Yeah,
you know?
Andrew's correct because it says 900,000 copies. This is written very specifically for legal reasons, right? 900,000 copies of issue 0 unleashed. They didn't say purchased. They said 900,000 copies of issue 0 unleashed. And then they said it was making it the biggest selling independent comic since Wildcats #1. Well, it's the biggest selling independent comic since Wildcats #1, not because it sold 900,000 copies, but apparently because if a store has if stores have 900,000 copies, they're going to slap a price tag on it. Right?
Yeah.
So by default, it's going to be selling. They probably don't have those numbers, but they're probably selling hundreds of thousands, right? Because
there is the you remember the what's his name out in California was sharing the numbers of sales. It was specific retailers reported their sales numbers and they were building models off of that. They're not doing that anymore.
Right.
There is no sales data out there anymore.
Well, and that's the other thing. I was like, where are the pictures? Like, I remember I was there. You know what I mean? Like, we were there. I was like, where are the lines? If there's 900,000 copies and there's fewer stores, there's lines around the block. Where are the lines?
And people were lining up for those image books.
That's what I'm saying. Where are the photographs of the lines of people buying it? And I'm like, well, no, it didn't happen. So my BS meter went up. So it's just marketing. Again, dope book, but Reality says,
oh yeah, all the best. Yeah.
This is a good question for Andrew. Reality says, what determines the retailer is taking such a huge order?
What determines that they took such a large order?
Like, what determines the retailer's taking it? So my opinion, Reality, is that they didn't make the order. They just received it as a gift.
If a distributor receives more than what, or if a retailer receives more than what they ordered, that's like, hoo, yay, hey, whatever, they don't send them back, because they paid for the shipping on them. Most of the times they paid for the shipping.
So the way that this sometimes works is, way it used to work is basically comics are shipped through different distributors. It used to be just through Diamond, and now it's like 2 or 3 others because Diamond went belly up.
Yep.
Although I think they're still operating, but I'm not sure.
Yes, they're still operating,
but basically the way that retailers work, and Andrew, correct me if I'm speaking out of turn here, but the way they work is they order the books about 3 months in advance. So they get a magazine. It's like almost like a comic book. It looks like a phone book, and it's physical. And they flip through the pages and they see it's all of the previews for things that are coming out 3 months from now, right? So they're already ordering comics for August. This month they're ordering comics for August, and toys and graphic novels and lunch. All the pop culture stuff that's coming out in August is being bought right now, and they're flipping through it so they get the previews and they can see what books are buying are getting are coming down the pike. Right. So this was probably in one of those magazines because you have to go through these distributors to get it into the comic shops. So they do the preview, and let's say Andrew's comic shop orders 2 copies, right? Well, he gets the shipment from the distributor, and the box that contains his 2 copies of Planet Death, there's 50 copies in there, or 200 copies or whatever, right? All of a sudden, from Andrew's perspective, he's like, oh crap, like I'm gonna make, I only paid for 2, but I got 200. That's cool. He can sell them for 25 cents and it's all profit, right? If they sell.
Yeah.
So that's sort of what we're making. We're based on the language that they're using. That's what we're assuming, because they're saying that they unleashed 900,000 copies. And the biggest selling independent comic since Wildcats, that's an assumption because of how many copies they put in retailers' hands. They are not saying that they sold. There is nowhere in here where they say we sold 900,000 copies, because that would be all over the news. That would be everywhere.
Yeah, that would be massive.
Yeah, that would be huge.
And nobody on this creator list is big enough to sell those kind of numbers.
Well, and no one's ever heard of it. Like that's the whole thing. Like I knew Battle Beast was coming out. To me, Battle Beast, I was like, this beat Battle Beast? Like, okay. Because Battle Beast is Robert Kirkman and Otley.
Yep.
Ryan Otley.
Yeah.
Like that's those guys are awesome. Like hell yeah. So Andrew, sorry to turn it back to this, but as a marketing person, I'm really curious about this. Like, so how did they market this again? The Battle Beast thing.
Well, they solicited Battle Beast. This was months and months in the works. And to be honest with you, I wasn't sure if it was a series or if it was just a one shot. I was very happy when I got to the end of the issue and it said to be continued, and then showed the cover for issue number 2, which is fantastic. But
well, I had heard that, not just to jump in, I did see today that in some of those packs, I guess they were like blind packs or something. Like in some,
there might have
in
been
one of the
blind packs too. So
in one of the, they said that Kirkman or Otley said in one of the blind packs was issue number 2. So some people got number 2 today or whatever as well. But what? So sorry to interrupt though. I'm really curious. So they had like 25 comics in a stack.
Well, the death of comics is alternate covers,
right?
And that's just it's going to lead to the downfall of comics once again, because people are buying for covers. They're not buying for the comics. They're not buying for the story. They're not buying for the art. They're not buying for the characters. They're buying because of a cover, and it's stupid. It's crazy, but it's just the way the industry is working right now. But apparently there were going to be multiple. See, there's a lot of variants that the stores can order directly. They could say, okay, I want 5 copies of A, 5 copies of B, 5 copies of C, 5 copies of D. Now E, F, G, H, I, J, K, you might have to order a certain number in order to get a copy of that, like of the 1 in 10 or the 1 in 25, the 1 in 100, or 1 per store. There's some of those out there as well. But apparently there were a lot that they could order, a variety. They could order direct. They didn't have to pay extra to do them or order a certain up. They were just, these are the variants that you could order. And apparently there was a collector's edition that had like 25 variant covers in it. And one of them was you could only get it if you bought that pack. And the retailer price for it was $699.
That's nuts, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know it's, whatever, but like,
no, it's stupid, dumb, and crazy. But because what it is people aren't going to care about the issue. They're going to care about that one hard to find limited edition cover.
Right.
That's worth the most, But if you want, I can pull up the Legion of Comic Geeks for this week and give you an idea of what the covers look like. Well, they have on the site, they have 19 listed. 19 different covers listed
on the comic site.
Legion of Comic Geeks. Yeah, they have 19. Maybe it was 20. Maybe you got the grab bag, not grab bag, but the collector's edition. There were 20 variants in it, and one you could only get there's like a David Mack cover. There's a, let's see. Let me see.
While you're doing that, Reality says, yeah, I almost bought 1984 by Fido Nesti based on the German cover, then decided against it after I saw the art inside. Yeah, that's usually how it works.
The ones they had
And-
at the store that I was at included the David Finch variant and the die cut foil variant Battle Beast mask. And
Crazy.
they already
And-
have a second print listed and multiple second prints. And then incentive
Reality,
covers.
we should share
Sorry,
it.
go ahead.
You gotta share it. Reality says, isn't that kind of a big risk on the side of bad idea? No pun intended. I mean,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
gonna
know the
blow. It's
company.
going to blow up in their face. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely is. So
It's cost them a lot of money. It's a huge marketing push. Who knows? You know, it might work. Who knows?
So this is the main cover. That's the copy that I got.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't care about all the variants, but this is the second print, which frickin' A, they've already solicited a second print. This is another second print with cover by Ryan Otley. This is a second print by Ryan Sook. That's a nice one. I like that
cool.
one. This is a 616 Comics variant Virgin edition. This one's a 616 foil variant. This is actually based on the cover that he was originally on in Invincible. This one's a David Finch variant. This is
That's dope.
cover B.
Those colors look fantastic, man.
This is one that was readily available. This is the blind bag variant.
That's the blind bag.
Why would you put blind bag on it? I mean,
Because it's a blind bag.
Whatever.
It's a bag.
No, that's the cover that was in the blind bag. This is the cover. The sealed blind bag variant.
Well, I'm looking at the blind bag, and the blind bag has the exact same thing. So
okay, well, how freaking stupid. Whatever. This is the cover D, the 1 in 10 variant by E.J. Sue. Oh, also that's a connecting variant, so it probably connects to another cover that's coming out. This one's by Cale New. I don't even know who this person is.
That's a great cover.
1 in 25 variant. This one's the 1 in 50 by Art Adams. That's awesome.
That's sick.
Yeah. This is the 1 in 100 by John Boy Myers.
That looks great.
Yeah. This is the 1 in 1000 by Ryan Otley. Die cut. Oh, jeez, stupid shit. Blank variant, and then the die cut mask variant that you get where the mask pops off.
What's the? Oh, I see. You're still going through them. Jesus.
This is the Hobby Saeed's variant, or the PCB Hobby, the store variant that was available.
That's a good cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, which one was the rarest one?
I'm not sure. I think it's this 1 in 1000 die cut.
Okay.
Foil variant cover.
And so the collector box had all of them.
Yeah.
And there were 1,000 collector boxes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the retail cost, the guy at the store was telling me was $6.99.
Jesus.
So.
Yeah, they know the deal. The customer is not the customer. The customer is the retailer. You know?
Yep. It's pretty sad. But the issue was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed the art, and the story was good. And yeah. And a couple other ones that I picked up this week included Absolute Batman #8, which wrapped up the story with the new Mr. Freeze. And the storytelling in the last 2 issues with Marcos Martin on doing art was utterly horrible.
Wait, really? Wait,
it was extremely hard to follow, and there was so much. There was so much of the book where all the characters are in silhouette. I mean, that's just lazy storytelling. I'm gonna try to show you what I'm talking about. Like, here's a whole page of story where everybody's in silhouette. And a whole bunch of this is conversations between Bruce and his buddies. and every panel is everybody is in silhouette through every part of the story.
He just didn't want to draw it.
They just didn't. Yeah. Then next page, more silhouettes. I mean,
Okay.
it just nope, nope, nope. I was just not enjoying it at all. And yeah, I know people are like, "Oh, Absolute Batman is the greatest thing they've ever done." No, it's not.
It didn't
And
really. I mean, I thought the art style was okay. It didn't really impress me though. I was like, okay. I mean,
Well, in 8 issues, what's his name? The main artist has done 5 of the 8 issues. There was a fill-in artist for number 4, and issues 7 and 8 had Marcos Martin on art.
and he's awesome. I like Marcus Martin.
Yeah, well, he did not do any justice to Batman in Absolute Batman 7 or 8.
Mm.
Now, the one that I liked, that I actually enjoyed and got a kick out of, was the new Supergirl.
Oh,
This one is the Art Germ variant, because it was the only one they had left. This is the regular edition cover, but it's written and drawn by Sophie Campbell.
oh, that's cool.
And it's fun, and there's a lot of clean, nice art in it. And it's, if you're a Supergirl fan, this is like right up your alley. You got another Supergirl who's a little thick, which I can get into that.
Super thick.
Yeah, I can get into that. And yeah, it's just fun. It was a fun issue. And yeah, here's her at the end. Thick girl.
Yeah, I know you like your
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So
no.
But yeah, and this is Sophia Campbell. I forgot what her name used to be, but she's one of those people that changed and never made a really big thing about it. It just happened, and she wasn't weird about it or whatever. It was like, your art still rocks. Let's go. Keep going. Keep doing your thing. So
I'll show you. We got the Battle Beast 1 in 1000 signed and graded 9.8 pre-sale. Sold for $650.
Pre-sale. Yeah, well,
that's crazy.
I doubt any of them have actually been graded yet, but yeah.
Well, you think that's bullshit?
Well, they just came out.
Yeah, I was like, how is it graded? Oh, pre-sale.
Pre-sale, so
it's not graded.
They're going to send a whole crap load of them to CGC, and then
nope, they got some. They're holding some of them. That's they're holding them.
Well, I'll go to CGC and see what's in their census right now.
I mean, Kirkman and Otley, they signed it. They probably graded it themselves.
Oh, good possibility. Battle Beast, published by Image Skybound. There are some listed here.
What?
You ready for this?
Yeah.
There are 0 universally graded ones. There are 0 qualified, 0 restored, which you wouldn't expect. But there's 400 signature series slabs.
Right.
11 10.0s, 55 9.9s, 316 9.8s, and 18 9.6s. So at some point, somebody, whether it was a retailer or Image Comics or Skybound or Kirkman themselves, sat down with 400 copies, signed them, and sent them to CGC, and that was the results.
Yeah.
There are 11 10.0s out there.
That's kind of crazy.
Yep. And that's the only one they've sold, is the Otley Virgin foil variant.
Right. That's what's out there.
Yep. So they're out there.
Reality says, I feel like the Frank Miller Sin City and Ronin silhouettes can't be topped. Yeah, 100%. He actually could do it well. But in fairness to Frank Miller too, though, like he wouldn't do an entire book like that. It would be like for dramatic impact, and then it was probably surrounded by like half a dozen panels of action, you know?
Yeah, it wouldn't be page after page of just silhouettes.
Yep.
Yeah, these are all the 9.8 are up for sale.
You got to limit something like that to once per page.
Yeah, there's
Or once per book.
316 of those out there, 9.8s. The majority
Is that a
of them are
lot?
that.
Probably.
Well, that's 316 out of 400. You know?
Yeah. They're mostly 9.8s. Well, it just means what they did is they got it from the printer, they signed it and shipped it.
Yep. That's exactly
And
what
11
they
of them
did.
turned out to be perfect books.
11 of them were 10.
I mean, look, like leave it to fucking Kirkman. That dude knows how to market this shit, dude. He's really good at it.
Yep.
You know.
The
He
funny
knows
thing
exactly
is
where he's going.
if you're a collector and you went out and bought this issue,
Mhm.
there's already people that have beaten you to the punch. You know, they already sent in signed. These
Yeah.
are like the most hard to find limited edition signed versions that are already graded and in the wild. They're out there. People are selling them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kirkman's the only person to be made an Image partner after the founders,
Yep.
and he's the only writer.
It wasn't because he was stupid.
No, he's very smart. He's the only one selling any books, really. I mean, him and Mark Millar. Who else is selling books?
Yeah.
Well, Tinian is, but not an Image.
I'm kind of tempted to check out Vatican City to see what Narwhal's doing.
I like Narwhal. I like his stuff.
Speaking of Vatican City,
is it out?
No, I watched that new movie Conclave.
Okay.
Has anybody here seen it or care to see it?
No, talk about it.
No.
All I'll say is that it took me 3 days to watch it because it was so long and moody. And I mean, it had very interesting parts to it. It was an interesting movie, but it had nothing to hold me. I just kept, and at the very end, they did a woke slap you in the face twist to the story, and it was like freaking A. They could have excluded that completely from the story, and it still would have been a good movie.
Well, actually, Andrew, the problem there is that's actually that the novel that it's based on also has that twist. So
it was just dumb. It was just
yeah, I know what you're talking about, and
the way they ended the movie, it's like the main cardinal that was involved in everything, he's like dressed in civilian clothes. I guess he's quitting or retiring or whatever. And he goes and he looks out the window, and 3 nuns come giggling out of a door and walk across the courtyard, and then the movie ends. It's like,
you know, look, dude, this happens every time there's a new pope that's elected, and it'll probably happen again. You know, long after you and I are old men and dead.
Yep.
You know,
it just I should have known when it kept getting critical rave reviews that there was going to be something in there that you're going to be like, as a Catholic, even though non-practicing, was not going to be thrilled with.
Well, as someone who was practicing, I knew immediately. No, don't waste. I mean,
what's called?
It's called Conclave, and basically, not to spoil it, but just no one's gonna watch it anyway. Might as well.
No,
don't spoil it.
All right, then I won't tell you the twist. But
we can tell them afterwards. But.
This is the reason why whenever I watch any movie, I wait until the until the Wikipedia description is up before I go into the theater, just because I want to make certain I'm not gonna like waste my money. You know, I mean, that's just
so damn boring.
Yeah, well, you know,
my mother-in-law doesn't like suspense or spoil. She doesn't like it. I literally had to tell her the ending of the movie, the Nicole Kidman movie, The Others, before she would watch it because
Oh,
it
that's
was so
horrible.
stressful to her. She had to know the ending before she sat down and watched the movie. She could not do it.
That's terrible.
I
That's
literally had to tell her how it ended so that she could sit back and enjoy the movie.
Well,
That's-
well, Andrew, let me ask you something. Have you seen and the season of Andor?
No, I've only seen the first 2 episodes of season 1, and we got bored with it and never went back.
really.
Well,
I heard it was.
I know.
the-
I've heard everybody talk about how great it is, and we'll go
Skip-
back to it eventually.
Skip
I'm in
to the
middle of
last like
something else.
3 or 4 episodes. I think you will like it. But
No, we're in the middle of something else that we are enjoying
Oh.
a lot right now. That's a Happy Face on Paramount Plus.
oh, nice.
Yeah, it's good.
I found a show that you might like though. It's called I'm not sure I pronounce this correctly. It's Etoile. It's on Amazon Plus. It's about ballet, but it's actually really funny to watch. It's from the people who did like the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and Gilmore Girls. You know, Amy Schumer and Palladino. It's actually
We
it's
loved Mrs. Maisel. That was a good show.
then you'll love the one then you'll love Etoile on Amazon Plus. It's actually
Oh,
it's
speaking-
yeah, and it's got Charlotte Gainsbourg too. So you know
I don't know who that is, but okay.
she's
God,
gorgeous.
Vatican City's out.
Speaking of Miss Maisel,
Mhm.
she is the actress that played that character. Is Lois Lane in the new
Yeah,
Superman movie?
Rachel Brosnahan. Yeah,
Have you seen the new Superman trailer?
we were talking about that in the green room actually.
So much more better than the first one.
Oh, I agree. It was great.
100% more all behind this movie. Absolutely.
The
The first trailer just teases stuff. Like the first Fantastic Four trailer teased stuff. The second Fantastic Four trailer was so much better.
Yeah.
And the second Superman trailer was so much better. Oh,
Well,
Yeah. I'm very excited for it.
yeah.
Well,
Very
I'll
excited.
say this: I'm someone who firmly believes that superhero movies have kind of hit their peak, and were kind of where musicals were in the '60s and westerns were in the '80s. But I liked what I saw of the Superman trailer, and if they can pull this off, and if they can get the DC cinematic universe on an even keel, it might give that genre like a second lease on life. Given that the MCU itself is not in the best shape right now.
Well,
But-
I don't think superhero movies are dead. I think crappy, shitty superhero movies are dead. Make a good movie and people will love it.
Well, actually,
Make
let
a
me
good
ask.
movie. And
Well-
I think Ironheart is going to suck balls.
Well,
I don't know if
actually,
you guys saw that trailer. It was
Yeah.
horrible. That is
No, I've-
such an unlikable character.
Well, Andrew, let me ask your opinion on something.
Okay.
So, one of the big problems that American comics had and continue to have is continuity bloat. Basically, American comics, they never really end. They keep running over and over and over. And as like decades pass by, so much continuity picks up that after a while it becomes hard to keep track of everything, or to keep the story straight, or to bring in new readers because they don't know where to start. So every so often that's why you have like every so often they do a reboot of some sort just to wipe the slate clean.
Yeah, Marvel
Now-
and DC destroyed continuity years and years ago.
I know.
All they do nowadays is relaunch. When somebody says, "Hey, I want to get involved in Spider-Man," there's 3 issues of a brand new series that are out right now. There's the best place to start. Start with the first issue.
Well,
It just
so
came out 2 months ago.
So, do you think that superhero movies, or at least the Marvel version of it, they're starting to suffer from the same problem? Because we've had like there have been the MCU has been around for like what 20 years at this point. We're pretty close to it. We've got like I don't know like some 18 different movies. I don't know how many TV shows, and so on and so forth. And it's to the point now where to get into anything, you really do have to do homework.
No,
So
I
it's-
don't think so. I honestly I think the references and the throwbacks to other movies, they're not necessary for new people going in and seeing them, but they make it enjoyable for the people who have. Like
Well,
in Thunderbolts, the main bad guy, the main bad girl is setting up shop in Avengers Tower. She bought it and is using that as their base of operations. Somebody who has never seen a single superhero movie can watch it and be okay with it, and then somebody who's seen them will be like, "Oh my God, that's Avengers Tower!" You get the connection, but you don't need it. It's
Right.
not important.
I mean, I kind of disagree. I think that maybe what they're going to end up doing is a cinematic version of, well, not Crisis, but Secret Wars. Like a way to sort of what Fox did with X-Men: Days of Future Past, which was essentially a kind of like a soft reboot of that series. They kind of like
Well,
was
no, what they did with X-Men, which I thought was great, is they did the original 3 X-Men movies, and then they did First Class, and then they did a couple of those, and then they merged the two together with Days of Future Past, and
right.
they kind of connected everything together, and that, in my mind, that just worked great. That was like the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie. How they introduced a whole
I
new
enjoyed
cast, a
that.
young class,
I
and then they
enjoyed that.
connected it to what was previous, and it was like, that's perfect. That's great.
I enjoyed it.
You're not taking a dump on what came before it. You're combining it and making the story better. An example where they did it bad was the all-female Ghostbusters. They took a shit on the first 2 movies and just said they don't exist, and it sucked, and everybody hated it. But when they combine the worlds, the timelines, the universes, it's fun. It makes sense, and it's fun. That J.J. Abrams' first Star Trek movie was great. Everybody who shits on it needs to suck a dick, But it was great. It was wonderful, and I want a 4th movie. I want a 4th movie, even with Chekhov being the actor being dead. I don't care. I want a 4th movie.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen though. Apparently, they fell out over.
Well, all those actors have moved on to make bigger and better movies and want bigger paychecks, and they can't afford them all anymore.
Well, you know
They
what?
just can't.
You know what I think? You know what I would like to see, and I think this would probably help with Star Wars. I think what I would like to see is them recasting, Luke, Han, and Leia with new actors. Not no more of this, futzing around with like CGI and pasting a young Mark Hamill's head on someone else's body. It just doesn't look good. It just doesn't look right. I think, recast the characters, like they did with Solo. I mean, I'll be honest. I thought Alden Ehrenreich was okay as a Han Solo. I don't know why he got so much hate. I guess because he wasn't Harrison Ford. Fair enough. But I think if you can recast those characters, and maybe just retcon the entire franchise to like just after Empire, Return of the Jedi.
No,
And
I don't think they need to retcon anything. I think what they need to do is, if they want to tell stories with those characters, do like what they did in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and have it take place when they were younger. They don't have to be the main characters. They can be included, but they don't have to be the main characters. That series with the version of Princess Leia in there as a young kid was great.
Yeah.
I loved that character. She was great.
Yeah,
And she wasn't in any of the trailers either.
Mm.
She was kind of a surprise, and the way they made it work, it was fun.
No, I mean, what I would like to see is, like Luke. That's what I like to say. I would like to see like the continued adventures of Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Leia, all the rest. Get new actors to do it, and take it from there. But that's not going to happen because Lucasfilm was run by a bunch of idiots.
The only way they can do that is if they did it in animation, and did like continuing tales of Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia.
I think
because those actors are old or gone, but they could do it in animation. Like they just announced they're going to do a Darth Maul series.
Yeah, with Ray Parker.
An animated series. It's an animated series. And
is Ray Parker doing the voice?
Probably.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't do it in the cartoon.
Oh yeah, that's right. He didn't do it in the original movie. They dubbed him. he's got like a British accent, a very heavy British
Oh,
accent.
okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
no,
it's the guy from Forced Unleashed and the
yeah.
American version of that. What the hell was the name of that show? A ghost, a vampire, and a werewolf are all roommates.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Only Human
the-
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that played the vampire in the American version, he did Darth Maul in the Clone Wars show and all that.
Well, they teased Darth Maul at the end of the Solo movie, and people were actually kind of excited about that.
Oh, I was very
and then
excited
they
for
did
that.
nothing with it. You know.
Well, that's because Solo flopped, to put it bluntly. It didn't make it. It was.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I didn't hate it. I liked it.
I thought it was god awful.
No, I mean, it was god awful, but I thought parts of it were good. I thought honestly it was very disjointed, and if you read about how it was actually filmed, basically they shot an entire movie with the Russo brothers, and it didn't, and like the city, like the higher ups hated it, so they basically shot the same movie twice. So there was no way that movie could have made a profit, given that they basically had to reshoot it over again, and the budget blew up. And you could tell the script was kind of made up on the fly, but I thought there were the bones of a good movie in there, and if they, maybe if they hired Ron Howard from the beginning to do it, it would have worked. But but it didn't, and then and after that, after that we got Rogue One, which was a good movie.
Rogue
But-
One came before it, did it not?
I think it came after, actually, because
No, I'm pretty sure it came before. So
I don't remember. I mean, it's the only.
it was the first. Wasn't Rogue One the first Disney Star Wars movie?
Well, aside from the sequels.
No, timeline wise.
But it's one of the most unnecessary movies.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it was good.
It was good. It was good. It was the
But it was-
only.
I watched that movie and it's like that was unnecessary.
Yeah, well, it was entertaining, so that's all that really matters. I mean, look, honestly, I think at this point, Star Wars is basically like, if it's not a dead franchise, it's not in a healthy place. But like the Acolyte was, well, Ahsoka was okay, but the problem with Ahsoka is that if you didn't watch the Clone Wars, you have no idea who that character is, and you're not going to care.
Mhm.
And that's again a continuity problem. I think, and again, I think with a lot of these things, they're probably going to have to do a reboot, not just just to give themselves a clean slate. Like they did it. They did it with Star Wars when they basically nerfed the old expanded universe. Now it's called Legends. And now I understand why they did it, but it's still a wrench, because for me, Legends was Star Wars. It wasn't the movies. The movies were like where it started, but for me, Star Wars was the books. It was the comic books. It was even the audio dramas. It was the games. It was the role playing games. The movies just kind of like hinted at this universe.
The lore in the RPGs is huge.
Yeah, I mean, that's where all the that filled in all the shadows and created all the lore. I don't know. I mean, look, so yeah, but I mean, I think with Marvel, and I know Andrew, you disagree with this, but I really think at some point what they're probably going to do is the equivalent of a Secret Wars thing, but the cinematic version, or maybe they're gonna.
That's already been established. The next Avengers movie is Avengers Doomsday, followed by Avengers Secret Wars.
What do you think about that?
Really?
It's
Secret Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Holy shit!
They ditched Kang Dynasty because that was supposed to be the next one, Kang Dynasty.
Yeah.
It's been replaced with Doomsday.
Well, I think having your actor for that, being put on trial for some pretty nasty things, it's
but wasn't he acquitted or found not guilty?
Yeah, I think
or
he was
something?
acquitted.
I think so, but at this point,
I mean,
it's
they put him up long enough to ruin his life.
yeah.
and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll do something else now."
Well, it's the same reason why there's not going to be another Flash movie, because apparently the guy Ezra Miller, the guy who played the Flash, is apparently like running his own cult now, and yeah, it's read some of the stuff that guy's been up to, and it's like,
Wait, really? I kept up with this guy at all. Is he really? He started his own cult?
yeah, it's apparently he's like there's some he's in Hawaii and he's doing like something really look go to the New York Post, look up Ezra Miller, you'll fill in the details. It's like, yeah, this guy is a few fries short of a Happy Meal, and
Changing subjects again. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie Nobody, and
oh yeah,
the sequels trailer just dropped, and it looks hilarious.
I know. I think it's really good. I am kind of like silently wishing that I'm gonna when that movie comes out, I will see it in the theater because it's a good movie. But if they have like an Easter egg at the end where where the main character is like sitting on a bench and like John and like Keanu Reeves walks by and the guy says, "Hey John, you working?" Yeah, and then it cuts out. I would pay a ticket just to see that because like they're like the fandom really wants a crossover between Nobody and John Wick because, well, A, they're very similar, and B, like the same guy, it's the same people involved.
Right.
The problem is though is that they're made by different studios, so it's
So, really quick though, what's because I never saw Nobody. So what's Nobody about, and what's Nobody 2 about?
It's
you-
the guy from Better Call Saul.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome.
Bob Odenkirk, yeah.
Yeah, and he's just a regular old guy, family guy, and you come to find out that in the past he was like a super assassin type thing, and he really can take a lot of punishment. And he gets the shit beat out of him, but he also beats the crap out of people. And two teenagers or three teenagers, I forgot what it was, break into his house, and he doesn't fight back, but they steal like his daughter's bunny rabbit or something.
Here's a
And he
charm
notices-
bracelet.
Yeah,
Charm
and
bracelet.
yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it, but one of them he sees a tattoo on their arm, and he tracks them down, and he goes after them, and he in turn pisses off a bunch of mobsters and Russian whatever, who knows, I don't remember, and he starts a war, and has to end up killing a whole bunch of people, and his family finds out about what he is and who he is, and in the second one they are well aware of what he does for a living now, and they want to just go on vacation and get away from it all. And at one point, he's calling up like the CIA guy and says, "Listen, I stumbled onto something here while we're on vacation." And he's like, "Yeah, crooked cops, mob bosses, all this stuff. And you just need to be low key and downplay it." And he's like, "That's what I'm going to do." And at one point in the trailer, these four guys on a boat go after him, and he beats the shit out of him. And at the end, he's punching the one guy. Says, "I told you I'm on vacation." He's just punching him in the face. And it's hilarious. It looks great.
Andrew, you're forgetting one very important bit.
What's
Guess
that?
guess who plays the big baddie in that?
I could barely tell.
Sharon Stone, and
Oh,
she looked like she was having a blast.
Well, I couldn't tell that was her. I recognized the actress, but I couldn't tell who it was.
No, it's Sharon Stone. Yeah, it's Sharon Stone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
funny thing about like this, I didn't know this. So Bob Odenkirk, after he did Nobody, because like before he did that movie, because he was basically a dramatic and a comedic actor. He did better. He did Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and a bunch of other stuff.
Yep.
But in order to do like the first Nobody movie, he basically trained for a year and got like really ripped and really in shape. And after Nobody came out, he had a heart attack. And he says that because of all the training he did for the first movie, basically saved his life because he was in such good shape that he was able to survive it. Whereas if he'd been his old self, he might not have lived. So, and also Christopher Lloyd as like the wacky grandpa.
yeah.
And Common as the I don't know, what are like brothers, foster brothers? I didn't really get the whole.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah. So,
All right, we'll have to check it out. I'm looking for. I've been so busy just making stuff that I don't get to see it. I haven't been able to see a lot lately. So
I'd love to
Well,
see
yeah,
that.
I was at the other live stream this evening before
Yeah.
this, and somebody mentioned something about a car dealership going up in flames here in Jacksonville, like with 10 cars being burnt, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I haven't been paying attention to the local news.
Was it a Tesla dealership or?
I have no idea. There's literally a Tesla dealership down the street from us. I didn't see anything, so
Yeah.
I think
There's a lot of.
the news we were focusing on our drive today was the 9 or 10 escaped convicts that got out from a prison in New Orleans.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys hear about that? No,
No.
of course
No.
not.
Hey Todd, so you're looking for like some new movies? Well, here's some movies for your kids that they might like despite your best efforts if you tell them about it.
Okay.
All 4 or 5 Twilight movies are now on Netflix. So
They're not
Is
old
that
enough for Twilight.
Appropriate for like a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old?
well, I mean, look, I remember going to Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con when those were out, and it really was a dividing line before those movies came out. Comic-Con was basically a bunch of fat nerds,
Todd, I don't think you can take Zach's recommendations for an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old girl.
Yeah,
You can listen to my recommendations. I could recommend some good shit for them. But
yeah. I mean, it's like, I mean, it's. I mean,
I saw that picture, Andrew. I don't know if I should trust your recommendations either.
well, you know what, Todd? I mean, look,
hey, all honesty, Skeleton Crew.
Look. When I was 8
They
years
would
old, dude.
love Skeleton Crew.
A
When I-
Serbian film is family friendly.
Yeah,
You know-
show them the professional. Show them
Dude,
what they need. They
when
need
I-
professional
when-
training
yeah.
for now.
Yeah.
When I was 8 years old, I was watching Platoon. So maybe you're right. Maybe I'm not the
That
best.
explains a lot. That
That
explains
explains a lot. That definitely does.
Yeah,
That and Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, Reality says I'm watching Hero Mask on Netflix, but that's grown up stuff too.
All right.
Is it good? What do you guys know Hero? I don't know Hero Mask.
How about
No,
well, actually, Todd, give it, and how about Run Lola Run? I mean, it's got a booming electronic soundtrack, even though it
I
isn't German.
think I saw that. That was
all
a
right,
good
I'm gonna
movie.
go, guys.
All right.
Later.
All right, David, take
Later.
it easy, man.
Bye.
Yeah, we hit the 10 o'clock.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. All right. Well, you want to call it or keep going?
Zach.
I still got to make a video, and our AC is
And-
not working at the house, so it's hot as
Oh,
hell.
All right.
Jesus.
All right. So we'll.
And I got to get up early tomorrow. So
Just so
Well-
you guys know, this is a teaser, but I'm Donald Ducking it right now. So
You're Donald ducking it.
Google
What?
it.
Oh, okay. Great. Whatever that means. Love you guys. Happy Friday. Happy Nerd Den. Reality, great seeing you, brother. Good interaction, man. Love you as well. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. And yeah, see you guys here next week. And we got good stuff coming up in the works. Man, it's gonna be a good summer. I'm gonna turn my air down as well just to make Andrew feel worse. And I am going to post that with your permission. I really am going to post that picture in the Discord this weekend.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Great. All right. Love you guys. Take care. Have a great weekend. And we will see you soon.
all right. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Peace.
Ciao, ciao.
It's morning here next week. Yes. There you go. Reality. See you soon, buddy.